All right, another episode of Jacked Up with yours truly, Jack Hillgrove, and the high school theme rolls along this time with the only Ohio Valley baseball team left standing, getting set for their first state Final Four in school history, the Indian Creek Redskins. Really happy to have in studio head coach Mike Cottis, both seniors, Landon, Pownall, Nick Maurer. Guys, first of all, congratulations on the run you guys have had, it continuing to get going. And Coach, I'll start with you. I mean, for you guys to be able to, it's June 4th, and you guys are getting ready to play another baseball game, and a very meaningful baseball game, perhaps the most meaningful in program history. What's it all kind of been like for you up to this point?
It's been a whirlwind. It's been quite the ride. These guys, I just love how they come to work every day, and they're hard at it, and to be still practicing in June is surreal right now. It's just a really cool feeling, and the way the community's gotten behind us and the parents and everything, it's been awesome.
Yeah, I'll ask you guys too, because this is, obviously, when you guys can make it this far, the community gets real behind it. For you guys, and whoever wants to go first, you can. What's it been like, getting the support from Wintersville, Mingo Junction, the whole Indian Creek community as you guys have made this run?
It's overwhelming. Thinking about it kind of chokes you up a little bit. Just knowing you have not one town, but a couple towns, supporting you and having your back. It lights a spark under you. And I think that's the reason why we're playing so good right now. One of the reasons.
Yeah. Just as he said, it's just the amount of support we have is unreal. They are a big reason why we're here. We couldn't do it without them,
Absolutely. No, absolutely. And then for you guys, first regional crown in program history, win over Waverly 7-5. 5 of those 7 runs, Coach, come with 2 outs in whatever innings it was. What does it say about your offense and being able to step up in crucial moments? Because a ball maybe doesn't bounce your way in some of those situations. You're not looking at 7 runs in that ball game, and ultimately it ended up being the difference for you guys.
Yeah, heck, you go back to the top of the first, nobody on, 2 outs, and all of a sudden we get a couple base runners on and a big hit, and boom, we're up. It's just kind of a testament to how these guys are mentally in the box. They never say die. They have great at bats, and so even with 2 outs and nobody on, we can generate some runs and put together 3 or 4 hits to get some guys in.
I'll ask them in a moment, but when you guys, with 2 outs, top of the first, and you get those 3 runs, from a coaching standpoint, did it allow you to maybe kind of settle in a little bit more to know that you were able to get out of the top half of the first inning up by 3 already?
Yeah, absolutely. If it's the opposite way around, if we're the home team, our goal is to put up a goose egg and then, get the nerves out of the way, but vice versa. We want to jump out real quick and that settles the guys down a little bit, takes some pressure off, and now we can just play ball.
And you, Landon, scored one of those runs, I believe, in the top of the first inning.
I had a infield single.
That's right. So as you guys are getting, you come home to score from a player standpoint, and you guys are up 3-0 going into the bottom of the first. What did that do for you guys mentally to maybe settle into the ball game a little bit?
Oh yeah, it definitely took the nerves away a little bit. But being in a game of that high stake, it's hard not to think about like how important the game is, but playing this game for so long, it's I don't really get nervous anymore, but it's kind of just taking care of the younger guys and making sure they're not nervous, and they've been settling in so well.
And Mike, from a pitching standpoint, Silas, 6 strong innings against Waverly. Sal Barkalow has been tremendous. Gavin Pownall coming in relief has given you guys some big innings as well. We talk about the offense against Waverly, 16 hits, 8 or 9 guys in the lineup recording a hit, 7 runs, but what has the pitching done for you guys to this point as well?
It's kept us in every game. It's given us the opportunity to take advantage of the offensive side of the ball. But yeah, Silas, Sal, and Gavin, they've been just nails on the mound, and the way that they're pounding the zone and limiting base runners. And when we do get in jams, they're minimizing damage.
For you too, and when we talk about postseason baseball, and it's sometimes, from our perspective, it's hard to keep track of because you got Ohio and West Virginia and baseball and softball. West Virginia, you've got double elimination. You've got best of 3s. Ohio, it's one and done. So from a coaching standpoint, what does that do to you guys? Because you're undefeated to this point in the postseason, and if you're not, the season's over. So from your guys' perspective, what does that add to this time of year?
Yeah, it adds some pressure. We tell the kids during the season, if we lose one, hey, we got another one tomorrow. So what's nice about baseball, there's always tomorrow. Now we're in a situation, obviously, where there is no tomorrow, but the big games we've been in this year have prepared these guys for this moment. And, you know, that these guys that are here with us, Landon and Nikki, I mean, their leadership's been phenomenal.
And I wanted to ask you about that in a moment, but for you guys, you know, kind of the same question. You guys think about that as players at all? Like, man, if we're done, if we don't, you know, have a good game today and we don't come out on the right end of this thing, it's over. Like, is that added to your guys' mentality thus far in the postseason?
Yeah, I think it's hard not to think about, you know, if you lose or, you know, a couple mistakes can end the season, but just I don't know. Just I think we play better under pressure. We got nothing to lose. We've had nothing to lose for all year, and I think it's better that way for us.
Yeah, we're here, and you guys are still standing, so that's all that matters.
Yeah.
Nick, for you, an unfortunate situation in the St. Clairsville game, but to my understanding, before your game against Waverly, Silas Hyde kind of told you, like, hey, we're going to take you to Akron. So for you to get that vote of confidence, for you to get that from a guy that was going to be at the forefront of a win, and you know, a couple hours later you're celebrating with these guys, what did that mean for you to hear that from him in that moment, and then for the guys to kind of pull through for you?
It just means so much. It just shows that the guys got my back, you know, and we're a family, and it really shows to me.
Yeah, and you know, Mike, for these guys to be sitting here, both of your seniors, you're only seniors on the team. Yeah, I mean, you guys are perhaps maybe carried a little bit more by the underclassmen with them being the only two seniors, but you talked about their leadership and what they've meant to you for your, you know, for while you've been here, obviously for a very long time, but for their 4 years in the program. So if you could kind of talk about what they've meant, not just this season, but for their entire careers at Creek.
Yeah, I mean, most importantly, they're great young men. They come from great families, and you know, all the players call Landon Cap. I mean, they look up to him, and Nicky's, you know, battled the injuries, and these guys look at him for inspiration, because if you'd have seen what these guys both did in the weight room in the off season, how they grabbed the younger guys and brought them in at 5:30 in the morning, you know, every day during the winter, and we have freshmen, sophomores, juniors all following these guys to the weight room. This off-season program was these two. They brought them in, and the juniors, Ty and Sal, those guys were there all the time, and it's just, I don't know, man. I can't explain it. We've had some great teams in the past, but the way these guys are so tight, I think that's what helped us get to the next step.
Landon, when did you realize that you were on the nickname Cap? Like, everybody started calling you that, and did that kind of help you settle into maybe a more of a larger leadership role? Like, when did you kind of start embracing it?
Yeah, I can't remember how far into the season was, but it was in the hallway at school one day. My teammate Jason called me that, and I was like, I've never been called that before. I was like, I'm kind of digging it though. So.
For you too, I mean, you get to share this with your younger brother for the most part this year. What's that been like for you guys?
Just getting to play with him is amazing, and you know, this weekend being the last ride, it'll be hard, but playing with him's been one of the best things ever.
And as you guys kind of, you know, have been going through all this, you look at some of the other teams across Division II. Waverly gave you a little bit of fits in the seventh inning. What kind of led to you guys being able to hold it in there? You think, you know, 3 runs for them in the bottom of the 7th, and you guys able to hold on, get that final out, and get the win?
I think they just play with guts and determination, and you know, that nothing rattles them. You know, it would have been real easy for them to hit the panic button, but it didn't happen. You could just kind of feel they're staying calm regardless of what was going on around them, and somebody was just waiting to make a play.
And as you guys look ahead, you know, what's been the process been like so far this week? I mean, as we record this on Wednesday, you've still got little over 48 hours until game time. So what's it been like for you guys? I'll start with you, just kind of preparing for the early part of this week and getting ready for Friday.
On the baseball side of things, you know, we're going at it every day. You know, we have practice here in a little bit. On outside of baseball, the parents have been doing a real good job keeping us busy. They've scheduled some team dinners every night and activities and things, and just some stuff to kind of, you know, make the time go a little quicker leading up to the big game.
How about from your guys' perspective? What's been, you know, since you guys bring home that regional championship until now, what's it kind of been like from, not only just preparing for Friday, but, kind of embracing the run a little bit?
Yeah. I mean, preparing for a big game like this, it's crazy, but like he said, having stuff to do after practice every day with the team, it gets your mind off of things a little bit and kind of helps you refocus a little bit, and getting to spend time with the team just makes us even closer. But that's amazing.
And he's giving you guys a ton of praise as we've been sitting down here for like 10 or so minutes. What has this guy meant to you guys?
Oh, so much. I mean, it's hard to put into words. I mean, he's been the best coach for how long, and just getting to play for him has been the best. And I can't say, there's so many good things to say about Coach Cottis.
How about you now? I mean, 24 years, 24 seasons for you. I mean, you don't get that a whole lot from varsity coaches, no matter the sport. So to be able to play for a guy with a lot of experience like that, what's it been like for you?
It's just, it's nice to know that he always has your back, and he truly does it for us. He doesn't do it for him. He wants us to succeed. And it's nice knowing you have someone on your back trying to push you all the way.
And for you, Mike, I mean, I'm sure you don't want to compare of teams past, because you coached a lot of great players and a lot of great people, but is it nice to know that like you're 24 years into being a varsity baseball coach and you're perhaps maybe having the most fun that you might have had with this group and in the run you guys have made to this point?
They have certainly rejuvenated. I mean, I've had text messages from old players from 2001 and on. I mean, they're sending me messages talking about how proud they are of these guys, of this whole team. And, they're watching from, maybe it's Columbus or South Carolina or wherever they are, and they're watching it on WTOV's YouTube feed or whatever. And they're just so proud of these guys, and they keep telling me to pass it on to them. And but they have made this season and last season, with these guys, it's been a blast.
That kind of adds a whole different perspective to it. I mean, talk a little bit from your guys' side of things. Like, you've got old players from years past that might be from around the country at this point, kind of rallying behind you guys. So what's that kind of been like?
Oh, it's crazy. I mean, there's been so many good players that's came through the school, and to hear they're like motivating us, it's crazy, and just it gives us more fire.
Yeah, and from a motivation standpoint, I believe Silas told Rob after the regional final that maybe not a lot of people were expecting this much out of you guys. You guys lose a Division I baseball player. You guys lose some key contributors from last year's team, but here you are. So how much has maybe that added? And Nick, you can kind of speak to this too, as far as an extra chip and an extra piece of motivation for you guys as you guys have made this run.
Yeah, we definitely lost a good part of our team last year, but I feel like we all knew that coming into the season, and we all wanted to have a better season this year, because we fell short last year in the first round of playoffs, but we knew we had more, and we wanted to go out and kind of prove to that team that we could do it,
At what point during the year did you guys think that maybe you were, I mean, you could tell me, from practice day one when the season started, but was there a point during the season when you thought, man, like we are capable of some pretty big things here?
Yeah, I think the first day of practice, the first day of actual practice, when I saw my teammates playing for the first time again this year, I could just see how much better they got, especially Hunter Rusnak behind the plate, Sal Barcolo, hitting wise, pitching wise, Silas hitting wise, pitching wise, Gavin. I mean, having just two seniors and mostly sophomores and juniors, and having the talent that we have and the capabilities that we have is absolutely unreal. And, what we've accomplished this year has been insane, but I expect them to be back next year. And I think what we've accomplished this year isn't going to just be a one and done. I expect this to be a tradition for our school and for this program.
Yeah. And Mike, speaking to that, I'm sure you've got kids in elementary, middle school, junior high, whatever, kind of watching this thing, playing baseball. And it's like, man, I'm excited for that to be me one day playing for Indian Creek. What do you think that this run could do for the Indian Creek baseball program in the long term? Because obviously you guys have had success in years past, but none to this magnitude. So can you kind of just see this as a building block to maybe make this somewhat of an expectation year in and year out.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely inspirational. When we came back from the Tri-Valley game after a district championship, a bunch of the youth players were there greeting us at the high school. I mean, that was an incredible feeling, seeing them. They had their uniforms on and clapping for these guys. And we're going to pay it forward tomorrow and head down and watch one of their games tomorrow, and let them see us. And I think, those guys look up to these guys, and to see that they have some big shoes to fill and winning program that they can be a part of. Yeah, I think it's big.
And you and I talked about this leading up to your regional game. I asked you about the area and baseball in the area. I'm sure you guys know a bunch of kids and are close with kids from other schools. Harrison Central makes their run to this stage last year. It's you guys this year. 2 other teams making the regional semis as well. For Ohio Valley baseball and OVAC baseball to see, a state semifinalist in back-to-back years and teams to this point in the postseason, what does it do kind of for our area? I know we talked about it last week, but, just kind of speak to what baseball in this area is like and maybe playing against other area teams, how it's prepared you guys.
Yeah. I mean, Valley baseball for years has been so strong.
Yeah.
Go back to the old days when I played to now. I mean, it's just, it fully prepares you for anything you can face throughout the state. Some of the great programs that are, that have represented UOVAC and then just a little Buckeye 8 lately, us and Harrison now, and St. C's always been tough. And, so the Buckeye 8's a great conference, and, it's just good baseball here. Sometimes the rest of the state forgets about the Valley.
Yeah.
I have to ask you guys too. You guys lose to St. C 3 straight times, and you get them when it matters most.
Yeah.
So, what was that kind of like to being able to springboard you into a regional final?
I mean, after that OVAC final game, I told Coach Teak Mort, I said we're going to see them again. Yeah, I didn't matter what it took. I knew we were going to see them again, and when we beat Tri-Valley and we found out that they won, I said, this is it right here. We're going to beat them this time. And I think everyone else in the program, everyone else that was around us believed in that. And, getting a 5 spot in the first inning was absolutely huge for us. And I know we never trailed in that game, and it was crazy. We were going to do it.
What was that atmosphere like for you guys?
It was insane.
Because I watched, I was covering Barnesville's game, but I was able to tune in and on my phone sporadically, like in between innings and stuff. And I saw full people behind home plate, and I'm like, that's nuts. So what was that kind of like, being in the dugout for that?
It was just crazy. I mean, I looked at those bleachers, and 75% of those bleachers were Creek fans.
Yeah.
And it's just people from all over coming to support us. And going into that game, we kind of knew we were the underdogs, and I feel like our fans kind of knew that, but they were on our side and pushing for us the whole time, and I feel like St. C kind of went in and took us lightly, and we jumped out of the gate, and it was crazy the amount of support we had.
No, absolutely. And for you guys and kind of asking Coach the same question, like to see Harrison's run last year, did that maybe say, hey, we can, the team from the Valley can get to this point, why not us?
Yeah,
and what's it kind of been like for your guys' whole high school careers playing against this competition in the OVAC and in the Ohio Valley? And how do you think it's kind of prepared you to take on some other teams from outside, the area and other teams in the state?
Yeah, I think, Ohio Valley baseball is pretty legit, I think. And there's so many tough teams around here, so many good players to play against. And, the schedule that we have and what Coach puts together is, it's tough. And, to put together a 21 season in a valley like this is pretty impressive for us, but we got more work to do. And I think playing teams we've never heard of and not from around here really prepares us. And, we know what to expect because Valley baseball is pretty legit.
Does that add any, challenges, Nick, for you guys to, going into games like, oh man, where the heck's this team from? And just kind of trying to get together a good sense of knowledge going into like what they have at their disposal?
Yeah, it's definitely difficult going into a game that you've never heard of the team before. Mm-hmm. But honestly, I like it because you don't know what the team has, so we just have to show up and play, show up and play our baseball, and I feel like that helps us later in the postseason because a lot of the teams you've never heard of before. So you just have to go out and play your baseball every game. you know.
And Mike, for you guys, I mean, as we wrap up here, let's look ahead a little bit to Friday. West Branch, what do you know about them, and what do they bring to the table, challenge-wise?
Well, assuming they're going to throw their number one at us, he's a 6'6" fella who's around 210, 215 pounds. Threw 38 touchdowns last year as a football player, and
so that tells you he's got a pretty good
he's
arm.
an athlete.
Yep.
Yeah. You know, what we know about him is he pounds the zone. His box scores are usually 7, 8, 9 strikeouts, no walks. So we got to be ready to swing the bat. He does command fastball, curveball, changeup. But you know, these guys have really good plate discipline, and I trust them to be selective and get their pitches. And you know, offensively for them, they're very aggressive on the bases. They got the middle of their lineup. They have 3 guys that have over 40 hits this year, so they can swing it. We just gotta on our side, we have to minimize their base runners, you know, minimize walks, pound the zone, let our defense play, and we got a real good shot.
And from a player side of things, leadership side of things, what are you going to be preaching to the guys for the next night or two to kind of mentally and physically prepare for this one? And from a player's perspective, what do you think are some of the keys for you guys to be able to play in a state title game?
Just knowing the magnitude of the game, you just got to let your teammates know, you know, this is a high stake game, but you can't let it get to you. You got to, you know, embrace the moment once you get there. But once you step inside those lines, it's, you know, it's time to play baseball, and everyone got to lock in and stay focused. And I think we've done a real good job of that so far. And I expect everyone to do it again on Friday.
Anything else, Nikki, to add? I mean, for you guys to be able to also kind of play to play in a professional ballpark too, that'll be to set foot in there. That's got to be pretty cool.
Yeah, I don't know. We can't let our nerves get to us. You know, I mean, everything we've done from the first day of winter to now has prepared us for this moment. I mean, from day one, we knew we were going to get to this game, you know, so we just got to go out and play like we know how. That's all.
Well, gentlemen, thanks for taking some time this afternoon to sit down, and we're all pulling for you. So good luck.
Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. Head coach Mike Cottis of the Indian Creek Redskins and seniors Landon, Pownall, and Nick Maurer. They take on West Branch Friday in the Division II state semis at Canal Park in Akron. We'll be there. Rob Metzger will be there with coverage. So be sure to stick with News 9 for the highlights and the post-game reaction. This has been Jacked Up. Go Redskins.